This is the video on genre for exam preparation in question 1B. As before, make sure you take notes throughout this video to aid your understanding of the work in the lesson. Feel free to start and stop the video as you go through where needed. And as before again, the tasks have been designed to help you extend your understanding of this concept. So we'll start with a definition of genre. It is a critical tool that helps us study texts and audience responses to texts by dividing them into categories based on common elements. The term is widely used in media theory to refer to a distinctive type of text. In the exam, you may be asked to comment on the generic conventions of your production. Bear in mind this means genre. Genre is good because it can be added to, built on, challenged, subverted, and reworked or remediated in different formats. Part of your response could be about what you've done with the genre and its conventions has been different or challenged it. With genre, it means everyone can carry the same understanding of the expectation if you're told what category it falls under. This is because the codes and conventions attribute to genres. This is an outline of the theories and ideas relevant to genre. There are loads more out there on genre. It's a particularly rich concept, so you should continue your own reading to your revision. Music videos are likely to adopt the genre conventions that match the genre of music itself. Codes and conventions are a firm set of rules or ways of doing things. These can slowly adapt, but shouldn't be challenged on too great a level. In thinking of conventions, you should think of the setting, characters, objects, and themes that make up the genre. The reasons for codes and conventions are twofold. It allows the audience to become familiar with a certain genre as they become accustomed to seeing certain things within the genre. And secondly, it ensures that a certain text works well and fits into its own genre. You're likely to want to focus your response to this concept in an exam by talking about codes and conventions and how you've used them. You should be aware that this alone won't be enough. You would need to engage in ideas about how this has then attracted your audience as well. Here are some conventions you might attribute to pop music and videos. There's often colour coordination and design, or costume coordination. The music is often upbeat, happy-go-lucky, or serious and heartfelt, and there's not much in between. And the videos will reflect this in their themes and narratives. There's often a dance routine from the artist and some dancers, and there's often fast-paced cuts and lots of close-ups. This is Cheryl Cole's Fight for This Love, an ideal example of a generic pop video. The Many Faces of Cheryl is about the artist and the outfits she is wearing, doing this in a way that uses the male gaze theory. Look that up if you don't remember it from last time. There is definitely colour coordination and design throughout the video to draw attention to her. They use frequent close-ups, and although Cheryl is trying to push the boundaries of her image, as she says, she essentially conforms to a pop image and genre. These are the conventions that you might attribute to hip-hop. There's often a show of wealth. Artists are very successful in their videos, so there'll be cityscapes, cars, nightclubs, which all connote wealth. They might sing about the struggle they've had before they hit the big time, and therefore how lucky they are now to be living it up as they are. Women are often depicted as attractive and sexual, a prize for the male, or if it's a female artist, she's still sexy, but she's in charge. Here is 50 Cent in Da Club. All of these conventions are present, but interestingly, this has a postmodern reading to it about how they're using the video to make a comment on the genre itself, with Dr. Dre and Eminem creating 50 in a lab in the image of a hip-hop artist. Here you would need to remember to talk about the use of these conventions and what effect they've had on the audience and how they've responded to the text. Task 1. Make a list for yourself of the generic conventions you've used in your music video. This is likely to be where you start your exam response, and you'll move on from there. Subgenres. This is where genres are divided into more specific categories. Barry Keith Grant says this allows audiences to identify them specifically by their familiar and recognisable characteristics or generic elements. So subgenres narrow down genre choices to much more selective groupings. And this is useful because, for example, not all rock fans will like every kind of rock music. Subgenre classification could be then useful. A recent subgenre of pop music has been the mix of pop and soul, owing to artists such as Amy Winehouse, Duffy, Adele and Emily Sandé, who've brought the sound to the mainstream. These artists have asked the popular music industry to readdress how they sell female artists as sex symbols and concentrate on talent and voice over image. The music is still classed as popular music, and therefore the subgenre within it, but it will appeal to a smaller section of pop fans. It's also interesting to note that they all use black and white photography to suggest that soulful image. A hybrid is a mix of two or more genres. It's a fusion, interrelated and perhaps complex. The mix of genres will mean the text might appeal to a wider range of people, and a hybrid will typically blur the traditional conventions of singular genres. The bit in the middle on this diagram is the example of the text that uses the influences of several different genres. This is different to a subgenre because there's no clear overarching genre in which the music falls, and increasingly some artists are attempting to cross these barriers with their music. If you aren't sure what might constitute a hybrid, go back to the conventions of the genre and see if it fits alone. This is a clip from Nicki Minaj's video for Starships. She uses influences and elements of dance, electronica, pop, and R&B in her music. She uses this hybrid of music in the track, so it's appropriate to bring the influences into the video. There are neon rave images mixed with those typical of the R&B genre, where she's wearing very little and there are lots of dancing girls. In this video, she's even used a kaleidoscope to suggest this blurring of the lines in the imagery and sound she's bringing to us. Task 2. Can you think of any other artists who use a hybrid of genres in their music and music videos? There are lots of theories around the fact that genre is constantly changing, and you should consider whether you argue this within your music video. Are the generic conventions evident, or do you agree with this idea that genres are changing, and do you attempt to update or redefine that genre in subtle ways? Take a moment to read these theories and think about your music video production and whether they might apply, or whether you feel they could. Nicholas Abercrombie said that television producers set out to explore genre conventions, and we can think of this as the fact that media producers will use genre to ensure their product is successful, and we can apply this to music videos. It's certainly easier for an artist to conform to the conventions of a certain genre, otherwise they may not make as much sense to the audience, or they might struggle to find an audience. Most producers need their artists to make money, and this is easier if they sit comfortably in one place, so they can forecast how this will happen or who they're marketing to. Robert Stam simply said, genre can be defined by the performer. Do you agree with this? Here's an example. Madonna and her music videos. Madonna is an artist who, in her career spanning 4 decades, has constantly changed her sound, image and styling to meet modern expectations and to find new audiences. The effect of this is that her music has been put into different categories throughout her career: pop, rock, alternative, soul, musical, etc. She has dictated these changes because she established a certain popularity from the off, something very difficult to do. Some say artists like Beyoncé are attempting to do the same thing. You'll need to decide for yourself what you think about that. Rick Altman said that there are semantic elements and syntactic elements to genre. Semantic elements means common traits, the building blocks of genre. And syntactic elements is the constitutive relationship, so the deeper meaning that we can take from it. The third thing is the pragmatics, the information on screen and how it is individually interpreted. Meaning in a media text is never fixed, it's dependent on how the viewer reads the information. And depending on your nationality, race, age, and the era in which you're viewing the material, you will be affected by the way you interpret that information. This is the music video for Naive by the Kooks. The semantic elements are the nightclub, images of the morning after, the girl's dishevelled hair and clothes, and she is seemingly in a club on her own, drunk, seen by the prop of a wine glass. Cinematography uses red lighting to indicate that the man might be angry, and all of this fits in the lyrics of her being naive and he's coming to rescue her from herself. The syntactic elements could be that it's a comment on youth culture, young people doing things they're too naive to do from a young age. Society is in trouble and they need to be saved by others who know better, like the guy in the video. It helps to think of the media language here to figure out what the semantic elements are, and syntactic elements are the meaning that is created for us overall. Now we're going to look at the 3 I's: iconography, intertextuality and ideologies. It might be useful to remember these when you're talking about genre and audience readings. We've looked at them before, but iconography is the symbolic meaning we attach to images. Within genres, we can use the term iconography to refer to elements of the mise-en-scène that define the genre. E.g., a rock music video is defined by the following iconography: black clothes, the band with their instruments, wild behaviour, a stage performance. The next I is intertextuality. This is internal references to other texts, and the ways in which media texts interact with each other instead of being unique or distinct. Kate Wales said that genre is an intertextual concept. And ideologies, a dominant set of ideas presenting itself as truth, asserted by a dominant class in society. John Fiske asserts that generic conventions embody the crucial ideological concerns of the time in which they are popular. Ideologies might be difficult to grasp, so here's an example. A dominant ideology of music videos, and music in general, can be that love conquers everything, and that is a good thing. Here in Beyoncé's video for Halo, it is clearly about her relationship, and the dominant ideology is that love makes you happy. This could just be her experience. However, we take this to be the truth, because we understand it as an ideology in society. So if in doubt, we can once again use Andrew Goodwin's theory to talk about our understanding of genre in music videos. Number 1, music video demonstrates genre characteristics, e.g. a stage performance in a metal video or dance routine for a boy or girl band. Number 4, the demands of the record label will include the need for lots of close-ups for the artist, and the artist may develop motifs which recur across their work, a visual style. We might be able to see this from the pop genre, or others. There is often intertextual reference to films, TV programmes, other music videos, etc., an idea that we've come across in the other concepts. So there are so many theories on genre, and if you're not happy that you want to use any of these, or you don't think they apply, there are plenty more to choose from, and you should look up the following people: Christian Metz, Daniel Chandler, John Hartley. There's also loads more from Stam, Neil, Abercrombie and Altman, as has been detailed in this video. The thing about genre is that there's loads of places you can go, and there's loads of ideas that back up just simply what genre is. So make sure you get a firm grasp of what genre is and where you're going to take that understanding within your music video. Good luck!